Kishi Bowatlam an spot hollis a euros ja chahar na Gaillimhe agus conde na Gaillimhe iniu agus mar as all ditches cahar allene cahar ita gochoracul cahar gaithangok agus an gata don gweiltocht this is mo tier agus tá jarragar an go bhfuil lán fostiíochta an ach tá fibena tromcúiseacha ó híh cuasaí tííochta agus go háirid infrastructure aspa infrastructure bunsucha atá fitse fusa leis an aibo híh tííochtada. I'm putting the spotlight on Galway City and County today, and there are many good things I could say about it, but I want to focus in today, highlight the absolute problem with housing, but from a different perspective today, the absolute absence of basic infrastructure. We have a wastewater treatment plant in Mutton Island right beside where I live, which has been upgraded a few years ago and is able to cope with a population equivalent of 170,000. However, the collection network is seriously deficient, and that encompasses Ordenmore, Barna and the city. We have 2 siphons under the River Corrib, which are inadequate and have been identified for a very long time. We have an inadequate situation in Ornmore and in Merlin Park. An application for a storage area in Merlin Park was put in by Uisce Éireann and was subsequently withdrawn. I have 1 minute and a half to make a pitch for Galway City, and what I want to do here is to highlight that Uisce Éireann, and I don't wish to actually demonise Uisce Éireann, I believe it should have stayed with the local authorities, and indeed they put in a comprehensive plan way back in 12 and 13, which wasn't approved by the department because of the future birth of Uisce Éireann. So what are we doing now in Galway City? We have no wastewater treatment plant on the east of the city, which is absolutely stymieing development. The Ardon plan of 10,000 people cannot go ahead. Within the city, taken in Ordenmore and Barna, we have a combined sewage and storm water, which overflows all of the time. And in one particular case, after the EPA visited Ordenmore, they found that there had been 70 overflows of combined stormwater and sewage into Galway Bay, not reported to the EPA alone following their site inspection. And we have an open compliance investigation open, I think, since 2008, although could be 10, in relation to the deficiencies in the system, constant overflows, which should be confined to unusual weather conditions, but alone in 23, 70 overflows not reported to Uisce Éireann. What is my point today? There cannot be development in Galway City in any sustainable way unless we face the infrastructure problems. There can be no balanced regional development if we don't have a sewage treatment plant in Carrow. I will come back maybe to transport in a minute. Thank you very much.
Well, I want to thank Deputy Connolly for raising the question. I think she'll understand and appreciate where I may have to come back to her on some of the specific issues that she's highlighted in relation to her constituency, as is right and proper for her to do so. But I do take at a broad level the importance of, when we look at the issue of housing and when we look at the issue of balanced regional development, needing to look at it in the round. And I can sense your frustration, and I'm sure that of your constituents, in relation to investment in wastewater treatment plants, but then issues in relation to connection in a number of the areas that you've outlined as well. We do believe very much in balanced regional development. Balanced regional development is not just a nice to do, it is absolutely essential. I think if we're to create the country that we want to, the quality of life that people want, and also meet the housing needs of people and the wish for people to continue to be able to live in their community, raise a family and work in their community as well. What I'm very happy to do, Ceann Comhairle, on foot of the specific issues that Deputy Connolly has raised, I'm very happy to take a look specifically at them, not just in relation to her own constituency, but in relation perhaps more broadly to the need for us to ensure that we take a very joined up approach to anything that we do in relation to ensuring that housing supply can flourish in all parts of this country, including of course in Galway City and County. So I'm very happy to come back to Deputy Connolly and very happy maybe to receive the specifics of the issues that she's raised, and I'll undertake to directly engage with her.
Perhaps I can use a little bit of the time that you didn't use with the permission of the Ceann Comhairle, because it's really important here. It shouldn't be up to me to raise this with you. We have Uisce Éireann, the body in charge. We have the local authorities. We have plans. We have conditions set with a licence that are not being complied with. These are not my words. These are the EPA outlining it with an open compliance investigation. So either Uisce Éireann don't know what they're doing, which is not my way, or they don't have enough staff, or the government is not behind them. But we can't have a situation where basic infrastructure, the collection of the sewage and the stormwater, is inadequate. The actual network of collection is inadequate. It's inadequate for years, identified by the local authorities, identified by the EPA, identified by Irish Water. So Galway is one of the 4 cities outside of Dublin to develop, to increase its population up to 120,000. It can't do that, and neither can we have balanced regional development. I hear your beliefs. I don't really want your beliefs. What I want to see is action. I want to see what feedback is going back from Irish Water to the Minister's Department there, Finance and Public Expenditure and Reform. Where is the connection between what's needed in Galway City and in the regions and what is actually happening on the ground? What do we need to do? And finally, in relation to Galway City, it's absolutely caught up with traffic. We're now finally, back in 2018 or 17, 24,000 people signed a petition. Please do a feasibility study on light rail. That's finally been done by a body that said it wasn't possible, but they're now looking at it. And here we are similarly on Friday, there's a conference in relation to the Western Rail Corridor. These are all basic infrastructure in addition to what I'm highlighting here. Basic collection of wastewater, not adequate, so no development can take place. So therefore the housing crisis is going to intensify and planning applications will be refused, as have been refused right up for the last number of years because of inadequate infrastructure.
I don't have the figures in front of me, but I would imagine, and I'll certainly check, I would imagine that housing commencements in Galway City, are increasing as they are across the country. But let me check the point. I'm not taking from the point you made, but I do know that right across the country now, housing commencements are increasing. I want to assure the Deputy of this, that when state agencies like Uisce Éireann and others make investment decisions, they of course do that cognizant of both the National Planning Framework and the National Development Plan. We will have a new National Planning Framework being published in draft form towards the end of June. There will be an opportunity at that stage for all agencies, indeed yourself and your community, to also contribute in relation to the important needs of your community. And I will specifically undertake to pursue the issues that you raised regarding Uisce Éireann and some of the infrastructural issues with Minister O'Brien in relation to this case, and happy to come back to you if you want to provide me with more details of where you believe there's to be particular blockages in relation to development in Galway City or County. I too am pleased with the work underway in relation to Western Rail Corridor and Light Rail, and I do think any fair objective analysis of this government's time in office has seen a very significant increase in public transport. I think Minister Ryan is to be commended for that.